So I've got my equipment set up. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. This is a pretty rare setup that you would see. I've got a turntable. I've got a Technics 1200 turntable, old school classic turntable that I've got plugged into a Pioneer DDJ SX3. So I'm using something called DVS. It's an extra expansion pack within Serato to make sure that I enable it so that I can plug in a turntable into my controller. But it's cool because I've now got the best of both worlds. I'm using the controller as a mixer, but I also want to show you how you can scratch both on the controller and on a turntable and how they work exactly the same way. Well, sort of exactly the same way. Let's do it. So in this exercise, what we are going to do is a little thing called follow the leader. I will lead, you will follow. So I'm going to start with, let's just start with 2 beats. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So I'll start like this. I'll start forward, 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 forward. Your turn. You should be right behind me. Forward, 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 forward. You should be right behind me, okay? And I'm going to continue to progress this. I'm going to go through some of the different notes. So I want you just to listen to what it is that I'm doing and follow right along. Now, a couple of things right before we get started. First of all, I want to make sure I look at the turntable or the platter like a clock. 12 o'clock, 3, 6, 9. My hand should be at 9 o'clock. This is starting position. I'm also at the very beginning of the sound. I'm using this skipless ah fresh sound that we've given you. So make sure to download that skipless ah sound so that you can use this to scratch along with. That way you have the exact same sound that I have. On the other deck, you don't need anything. I'm going to play the beat for us. So you don't need anything. All you need is one deck. Now you can start with your left hand or you can start with your right hand, whatever you prefer. Either way, if you're using your right hand, this should still be at 9 o'clock. Okay, so on the platter, on my controller, same thing. 9 o'clock, right? I want to start at 9, and I want to come back, right back. Now you'll notice on my controller here, I actually have a line, a digital line that's telling me where the sound is at, where the beginning of the sound is at. Also, on my turntable, I am using this word, Serato right here, I'm using that as a visual cue to get back to the very beginning of the sound, right? And then the last tip I'm going to give you before we start this exercise, move to it. Use your body to keep the rhythm. It's very important. Your mind here is your enemy. I don't mean to get super dramatic on you, but I don't want you to overthink this. Allow your body to catch the rhythm of what this is and just follow along to exactly what it is that I'm doing. Just mimic what I'm doing, all right? Here we go. We're going to start with, I'm going to start by playing the beat. You ready? Let's do it. I want you to lock this beat in. 1, 2, 1. Know where it's at? Good. Okay, here we go. I'll start on the turntable. 2 beats and 2 beats. Like this. Forward, forward. 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 Now let's try something different. Forward, back. 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 Forward, back to 8. Forward, forward. Forward, forward. Forward, forward. Forward. Now 16. Forward, 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 forward. Forward, 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 forward. Forward, 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 forward. Forward, 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 forward. Yep. Combo. Forward, forward, forward. Reverse it. Good. Reverse. Sixteenths. Okay. Back to eighths. Eighths. Sixteenths. Eighths. All right, now what I want to do is I want to extend this out a little bit. We're going to do 4 beats. So I'm going to take the first 4 beats. You're going to take the next 4 beats. Do you remember how else we could call 4 beats? What's another name, another term for 4 beats? One bar. Okay, I'm going to take 1 bar. You're going to take 1 bar. So I'm going to start with 8 notes. Then you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you. 2, 3, 4. Then me. 2, 3, 4. Then you. That's what we're going to do. All right, you ready? Here we go. I'm going to use the exact same beat. Let's do it. Where's the beat at? Lock that beat in. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, forward, 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 back. Forward, 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 back. Forward, 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 back. That's a 16th to an 8th. 8 notes. Here we go. 16 to an 8. Okay, 16 to a quarter. That's what that was before, by the way. I messed that up. There we go. 16ths. Again. Okay, now we're going to mix this up. 8 to 16. Reversing this now. 16ths to 8ths. Okay, one more. Haha, tricked you. All right, here we go. 8 to quarter. Now this. Ooh. 8 to quarter to 8. Do it on this side. 16ths. Again. Last one. This takes practice, so I don't want you to get discouraged if you didn't get every single one of those. It's important to stick with it. If you mess up, just let that pass by. Pick it up on the next one. If you lose where we're at, just stop for a second and then pick it back up. Remember, your body is going to be the key to this, so make sure that you're moving to this, right? Make sure you're moving to this. And you can rewatch this video as much as you want. I have people that I've trained that rewatch these videos even still to this day, years later, just to be able to use this as their morning exercise, their morning practice to be able to get going. It's great for your rhythm and timing, and that's what this is really about. We are practicing our rhythm and timing so that when we bring in a sound, we can do that on time and use this rhythmically. Later on, also, we can make this right, we can do some other things with this to kind of freestyle with it and not be so rigid with this. And we can really use this for different purposes. In fact, we are using this ah sound, but technically, I could scratch almost anything. I could scratch my own voice. I could scratch somebody else's voice. I could scratch an instrument, a horn stab, a kick drum, which is exactly what we want to do next. So I want to show you how we can take this and translate this over to bringing in a song and bringing in a beat. All right, I've got a different sound hooked up here. This is the actual beat. So we can use the scratch as a way to introduce the beat. Right, so now I'm using the scratch as a way to bring in a song. And so same thing here on the controller. You'll notice I'm using the hot cue to bring it back. Right, so this is how we're using the scratch. And it's good to practice with the kick drum because the kick drum is actually a much shorter sound. So it requires me to be a lot tighter with and more accurate in terms of how I move this. The ah sound, there's quite a lot of leeway here. But with the kick drum, I got to be right on it. By the way, if you're wondering what that is, that's sort of a flutter, like a 30-second note that I'm doing. Right, and then in this, I'm releasing this, so I'm releasing it forward. Now, the turntable is much different because you can see that there's a spinning platter underneath me. So when I start it, when I let go, I'm going to let go, and it should be in time. On the digital turntable on my controller here, I can do that as well, where I'm holding the platter in place, but I've already hit the play button. So I can make it behave the same way. You'll notice I'm not hitting the play button. I'm holding it with my hand. Using the scratch can be really beneficial, especially in terms of changing up the vibe and also being able to demonstrate control. So, you know, one of the main goals of the DJ is that you are in control of the music. You are in control of this crowd. You are controlling all of these elements, and people want to feel like they're in safe hands with you. So the scratch is a great way to demonstrate control. And if I'm in control when I'm scratching, you can get this right. If I'm bringing in a song and it doesn't feel like I'm in control, like something like this, no, I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe with you controlling this. I don't feel like you know what you're doing or that you're in control of what's happening. So this is something to definitely practice. Everybody's looking at you like, oh man, what's going to happen? Woo! right? Like that's a big part of this, is making sure to demonstrate control, and actually not even just like demonstrating control for the sense of these other people, but also for yourself, so that you feel like you're in control of this instrument, and you feel like you are driving the car versus the car driving you, right? This is a big part of that, is learning that control, learning that mastery over your equipment. I hope that you found this helpful. Thank you for watching this. I'll see you next time.